Because he is the biggest fucking pussy in all of daytime news. Like, every segment of his is about convincing the people who are watching that they're victims. It's such... I'm actually starting to buy... Actually, maybe Tucker Carlson's a better advocate for conservatism than I thought, because he's getting me to believe in victimhood culture. Unironically, I actually believe in victimhood culture now, okay? But victimhood culture isn't when fucking black people who are born into projects that have been segregated for a century and a half complain about when they don't get a job because it's factually proven that people with traditionally black names aren't as likely to get their resumes looked at. Victimhood culture is when conservative fucking upper middle class white people in the suburbs of New York go on and watch their television and listen to a multi-millionaire controlled by multi-billionaires tell them how they're all about to literally fucking die because a fucking neoliberal just gained office. Nothing will happen to them. Nothing will ever be done to or about them, but they're going to spend their entire lives in perpetual fucking fear of a boogeyman that doesn't exist. That's victim culture, dude. They are so fucking afraid. And by the way, neurological data actually shows that conservatives have a stronger fear response. This is actually true. I don't have the data on hand right now, but I would be delighted to provide it and to go over it in a future segment because I've read this from multiple sources. Conservatives, their brains work differently. You could almost say they're inferior to us, like fundamentally. Yeah, they're like deer, you know, like a lower life form, kind of. When their lives are just consumed perpetually by fear at all times, completely and utterly detached from any real environmental stimulus. They're just terrified all the time. That's the reason why they clutch their purses. That's the reason why they change which side of the street they're walking on when a black person comes the other way. That's the reason why they describe every black person wearing a gray hoodie as a thug. That's the same reason. Like all of this. No wonder they're so afraid of BLM. They probably think BLM is literally going to burn down their entire fucking suburb. Yeah, they probably genuinely do believe that. Oh, here's another one, yeah. Conservatives see scientific and non-scientific viewpoints as closer in legitimacy, study finds. The more I learn about conservatism and the more I learn about political theory, the more and more I grow away from my dipshit, like, high school belief that that conservatism is just like a difference in opinion. I think it's just something worse people defer to. But the thing is, our brains are infinitely malleable, okay? If you're a conservative and you move away from these patterns of thought, you can be better, okay? You actually can. But I don't believe it's just like, you can have an equally good person and they can be conservative or they can be liberal. I think conservatism is just a lower option. Like, but it's not, I mean, this isn't eugenics. It's backed up by science. It's true that these tendencies merge. Fear dispositions and their relationship to political preferences. Here we go. Let me see. Can we get a, let's go down to the conclusion. Probably no need to read all of this for stream. So boring. When I'm reading a paper or like a study or something like that, I want the pictures in between the words so I can read the words and then I can see a big picture with colors and I can go, including charts at the end is common. Yeah, for losers. We found the majority of the population showed no manifestation of phobic fear disposition. However, some 40% of the population does have at least some elevated level of fear. And as the level of fear increases, so too does the degree of conservatism. Specifically, a small increase in social phobia substantially increased political conservatism in the areas of defense and outgroup attitudes. However, for the relationship between a more general measure of fear and overall conservative liberal views, a very modest slope exists until one reaches the more extreme ranges of fear disposition, at which point essentially everyone is more conservative in their attitudes. That is, we do not observe a substantial effect of fear disposition on overall political conservatism unless individuals have an extreme phobic disposition. Furthermore, we find that the greater part of the relationship between fear dispositions and political attitudes is accounted for the genetic covariance between the two constructs. Finding a significant relationship between fear disposition and political ideology in this sample is especially impressive because these fear measures were developed in a completely apolitical context. Damn, dude. Finding a significant relationship between fear and political ideology is extra impressive because these fear measures, these qualifications, these characteristics were developed apolitically. So they weren't even like checking for different like political contexts of fear. They were just like just the general mode is applicable when it comes to political bias. Yoicks. And this is the first steps into eugenic shit. No, it's not. Oh my God. Oh, eugenics is when you try to eliminate genetic predispositions from a population, this is just indicating that people with certain types of personalities are disposed towards certain political ideologies. This isn't eugenics. Jesus Christ. No, this isn't innate. This is just how people, this is just what people become. Maybe some people are innately very fearful because of like some brain thing, but who the fuck is arguing we need to find people who are fearful and like fucking sterilize them? Nobody's saying this. Quit projecting. It's biological essentialism though? No, it's not. Wait, if I said conservatives tend to feel less empathy, is that biological essentialism? No, it's not. What the fuck? Biological essentialism is when you make prescriptive statements about the association between physical characteristics and some arbitrary social construct. That's biological prescriptivism, okay? This is identifying the empirical fact that people with higher fear responses tend to be more conservative. Conservatism in this case probably being defined either by their party affiliation or by some study or survey or something like that. You call them lesser people? Yes, I think that being a conservative makes you a lesser person. I do genuinely believe that. But you can, in the same way that I think being like, wait, is this hard? Wait, if I said being a racist makes you a lesser person, would you disagree with that? You guys are assuming some wild shit. If I said like conservatives are lesser people, are you, in your head, are you thinking like, he wants a Holocaust against the racists? What are you talking about? Lesser is a weird word. Yeah, people are fixating on it. You people are crazy. I don't know. We have some wacky people in chat today, okay? We got some wacky people. Don't disagree with this kind of language. It's easy to misconstrue. I honestly don't think anybody would have cared about the language unless some weirdos in chat freaked out about it. I genuinely don't think so. Do you think there's a reason why people so easily misuse the word eugenics, or is chat just being extra today? The annoying thing is that I literally got my start being a relatively contentious and edgy streamer, but now there are so many like soft fucking 16-year-old sockdems in my chat that like all I have to say is something like, yeah, I think like racists are like lesser. Like I think that's a lesser type of person than a non-racist, and people in chat start freaking out like I'm advocating for a fucking genocide. It's incredibly irritating. Let's be a little charitable. When I say I think being racist makes you like lesser, like you're less of a person, there are two roads you can take there. You can either believe that I legitimately think that prescriptively racist people meet the definition of a human being less than non-racist people, in spite of literally everything I've said and done, where I repeatedly indicate that people's minds can change, in spite of the fact that in this segment I said anybody can change and nothing is intrinsic or inherent, in spite of the fact that my understanding of personhood is absolutely not contingent upon what a person believes. Or you can assume that it's just an edgy way of saying that I don't like them.